Hello, everyone. I'm here to talk about a new Boolean feature in Maya 2026. This is the newest version of Maya that just came out today or yesterday. I'm not completely sure. But this is actually a feature that I've been hoping for a while, and it's a way to combine meshes together dynamically, and then you can retopologize them or whatever. Really cool feature that's already in apps like ZBrush and Cinema 4D and other 3D packages like that. But now it's finally in Maya, and I'm really excited about that. It just makes a lot of things possible that weren't possible before in Maya. You'd need to take it into another app and do some things to it. So this is a Boolean feature. So what we're going to do to sort of enable this feature is take our two models. I have a head model here that I've been working on. Now, just to preface this, it's very important that your models are watertight. Otherwise, it doesn't seem like it really works if they're not. And what I mean by watertight is there's just no holes in it. So in the nose, in the ears, and the eyes, I just went in and I sealed up all the holes. And this is a rather dense mesh, so I did subdivide it a few times, as you can see, and I'm going to go ahead and delete the history, freeze transforms, all that good stuff on it. And we will create our Boolean function. So I'm going to select my head model and then shift select this sphere that I have here. And I'm going to go to Mesh, Booleans, and to start, we'll just use the union, but I want to go look at the options real quick. And your default options are going to be set like this. So we have operation union, input, object display, wireframe, geometry mode mesh, and voxel size is 1. I want to change my geometry mode to volume, and I'm going to change my voxel size for now, just so it sort of interacts a little bit more quickly. I'm going to change my voxel size to 5. We can always change this later, which I think is an amazing thing, and I'm really excited about that. That means we can sort of iterate and play around with our geometry, and then when we're ready for our final geometry, we can decrease the voxel size and get a fairly high-res mesh out of this. So with these settings, I'm just going to go ahead and hit apply and close. And you'll see that it happens pretty quickly, right? It's pretty snappy. And now what this will allow me to do is take two objects. Like I can take my sphere here, and if I move this near it's a little bit laggy, right? I'm hoping that will only get better as they improve this feature. But you can see now that we can sort of combine our meshes together and get this sort of unified dynamic mesh thing happening. So we can change our Boolean type. Currently it's set to union. We can set it to something like difference AB, and we can see that now we have sort of like a hole in the geometry here. So I can scale this. It's very editable. I can sort of edit it as my heart's content. Right, and then we can do this with multiple objects, right? It's going to be a bit laggy. There may be some settings that we can edit. I will look into that. There may be some settings that we can edit to make it a little bit faster and a little bit snappier in preferences. But for the most part, it works pretty easily. And then when we're ready to sort of like commit all of our changes to the model, we can just decrease the voxel size here. So let's do something a little bit more asymmetrical here, right? So let's do something a little bit more, let's take, maybe this is like an exploded dissected view, right? Where we can see sort of like what's going on inside of this guy's head. Right, so maybe I'm doing a render where you have this character, and inside his head you can see his brain, or maybe you can just see his ideas, right? There's like maybe there's a little story going on inside of there, or maybe it's something like an old ancient statue and there's like plants and sort of magical things inside of the head, right? So the ideas are limitless. I'm also imagining I can use this to sort of build like vehicles or sort of like sci-fi ships. If I'm combining large shapes together, I can just combine them together using this, and then I can sort of retopologize the model really easily. But once we have everything sort of the way that we want it here, I'm going to scale this out a little bit. Right, and we could also add other objects, right? So let's take another sphere. And let's do something like this. I really have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of playing around and experimenting. So let's take this one and we'll duplicate it and we'll just do something like this. Just trying to create something that looks kind of neat. Right, so I can take this guy and we can take these three spheres here, and I can go to my Boolean node here and I can just grab all three of those and middle mouse drag those into the Boolean node. You may want to choose this little, once you select your Boolean node, you may want to pin it right there. That's what I like to do. I like using that little pin feature. And then I can just drag and drop them in there, and you'll see that that happened fairly quickly. It's pretty snappy, right? And then whenever I'm ready to sort of commit my models to the change that I have, I can come into my voxel size and I can decrease my voxel size. So the smaller this number, the more detailed your model. So let's just try decreasing it to something like 1 and give that a minute to process. Right, so now we have a fairly high resolution mesh, right? And I can, if I want to commit those details and then I'm ready to sort of retopologize my model, I can select that model and just delete the history on it. And now we have our sort of committed model. Now there are a few issues here. I am actually going to undo this for a moment because I want my spheres to be a little bit smoother. As we can see, whenever we commit it, that we have some faceting going on in here. And while that might be something that you're interested in, that might be something that you want, I'm just going to hit this with a smooth modifier. And again, because we have our voxel size set to a value of 1, it's very it's going to take a minute to process. So let's go ahead and increase this back up to a value of 5, just so this goes a little bit quicker. So let's increase our divisions on the sphere a few times, and then I'm going to do the same thing for these spheres as well. We're just going to smooth them. Right, and then once again, when I'm ready to sort of commit those changes, I'll just decrease my voxel size to something like a value of 1. This is going to change. This value is going to change depending on the models that you have selected. So in some cases, a value of 1 may be very low if your models are very simple. It may be very high if your models are kind of complex. So I would recommend starting out with a very high number and slowly working your way down. That will just give you that will just make it sort of easier to work with as you're modeling. So yeah, that's it. And now I can delete the history on this, and now I have a model that sort of combined away in a very unique way I can then retopologize this. I can continue sculpting on it. So this is a really cool feature. There's not a lot of new features that were added in Maya 2026, but this is one that I am actually pretty excited about, and I'm really looking forward to using this. So I hope you enjoyed this short video, and I'll see you guys next time.